Hello, here's what I feel like for April 16th, Wednesday, 9:26 in the morning. I, um, today I'm gonna try to take it easy. I'm like getting better. I'm like, detoxing from weed, so my capabilities are kind of like compromised, as you can see. As long as I'm yawning like this, you know there's something seriously wrong with my brain and my body. There's no secret to getting healthy and to getting in shape and to staying in shape and to getting the best shape. And unless you want to say there is a secret, and that secret is there is no secret. All you have to do is do all the stuff that everybody knows is healthy. But yeah, I'm just super toxic. Like it's been more than a week, but it's only been a week. Like the last time I smoked weed was last Tuesday night, because it was way too easy for me to keep smoking weed because I had a closet that was growing like 100 plants, like little baby plants, and a lot of those plants had like a few of those plants had like. My plants in there somehow learned to grow buds when they were only like 2 weeks old. Like there'd be plants that were 6 inches tall that had big ass buds on them that I was pulling off, and you get baked. The problem is, and I was smoking them wet. And they weren't completely dry, they were kind of wet. So the problem is, like on Tuesday I got baked. Like I was actually baked, and I had a high tolerance, dude. So if anybody tells you can't get high on baby plants or like fresh plants, like not the ones I had. But the problem is, you have to basically constantly smoke because the THC isn't nearly as strong. So and they're wet, so you're basically. I think I was like inhaling butane. Like I was going through lighters like you wouldn't believe. Like every month I'd have to buy like 5 more lighters. But anyway, the weed. But then yeah, I got baked again, and I think I was getting kind of baked kind of like on a semi-regular basis. Like I was buying like $10 of weed here and there at the store, and I wasn't smoking as much as I was, but I was still smoking, and it was keeping me from bouncing back. And yeah, I just physically and mentally slipped. I was so toxic physically that, you know, if mentally I was still with it, I could have like powered through. Like physically, I could probably ride 100 miles right now. But that's complicated. Actually, you know, I mean, I couldn't in reality. Physically, I could, but I couldn't actually because I can't get up in the morning. To ride 100 miles, it would take me like 12 hours. Like a mountain bike ride. To ride a 100-mile mountain bike ride would take me like 12 hours. But I could do it, and I could feel good, you know, for the whole thing without bonking or anything. But the problem is I wouldn't be able to sleep, so I couldn't get up. But I mean, but yeah, and so in reality I can't, you know, and I could run 10 miles, but it'd take me 2.5 hours, sort of a thing. And just to motivate and stay on top of it, I don't have it mentally enough. So it's just like a period of time I have to go through. Yesterday, like night before yesterday, I was up till 2:30 in the morning. Pasting to every single like Facebook group that had anything remotely related to Atlantis, and it took me like, I started doing it. I got in bed at like 11. I was stretching until 11. So then from like 11 to 2:30 or something then. So like for 3.5 hours, because it was like 100 groups or more than 100 groups. I don't know how many I should count, but I basically, for the last few years, I've been clicking join to every single historical YouTube or Facebook group I can find, because there's all these new images up there and new discoveries and everything, like magnetic boots from fucking a long time ago too, like 3,000 years ago. I mean, dude, I've been working on my timeline forever. If it's anybody who knows what we've found in history, is me. I basically am a professional historian. It's just in a niche that doesn't actually exist, so I don't get credit for being that, especially from my brothers. We're like estranged forever because of that. But no, I know things because that's literally all I do. Like, I don't know anybody, no friends, no hobbies, no nothing, because it's just history. So, you got to give me credit for that. And so I know, since something that I'm a specialist at is knowing what Wikipedia, what like historical, like how extensive Wikipedia, because that's how my website's based off of, how extensive Wikipedia its knowledge is and the articles are, because I've looked at all the lists and tried to build them for my website and stuff for all the different archaeological finds. And yeah, dude, like a lot of, like, they're probably making like dozen freaking new Wikipedia articles about a new like finding like every day, it seems like. All this stuff I've never seen, so I just spend all day long like I copy the image of every single interesting thing I see. So yeah, I'm just making like joining every single thing that I see, and it was all of them. It was like maybe 200 of them. And yeah, so it was just with 4 images. It was one with the Atlantis I made with the real Atlantis next to it. One with actual real Atlantis taking up the city, taking up the whole screen. One where you zoom into Atlantis from space and then you can see the circle. And then one where it's flashing on top of the Richat structure to show that it doesn't match up. And I wrote something like, actually, let me read what I wrote. My phone is like about to die. That's why it's over here. But maybe it got enough juice to be able to read it for just a second. It has these phones charge quick. Oh my God, it's already up to 27%. These phones charge real quick. So what I wrote was for like 3.5 hours until 2:30 in the morning. I wrote, does anyone else see the wall of Atlantis on the smaller circle the size of the big moat here in the Bahamas? Or am I the only one with organic LiDAR? As you can see, the moats are too small to fit in the Richat structure. Plus, there's a building the exact same size as the Atlantean Temple of Poseidon exactly in the middle of these circles. And I gave the coordinates. This is captured before they depixelated the area in March 24, right? So I actually addressed 3 things. I addressed, it ain't the Richat structure, it's the Bahamas. I addressed, I can see a circle. I also said there's a building in the middle of the circle. And I said there's another little circle in the inside that's the same exact size as the moat. And when I say moat, you should know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, does anybody else see it? I was like curious. Yeah, so and then a couple of people like responded right away with words. One guy called me a lonely cunt, but he spelled it C-N-U-T. One guy asked if I had magic beans to sell or to buy because he was being sarcastic. This was on the LiDAR page, so it was more like mainstream. And then another guy asked me what I was. 2 people asked me what I was smoking. I said weed. And then another person said I don't see it. So the only person who actually responded with words was the person from the LiDAR page who said I don't see it. And then I noticed like maybe, if I had to guess, maybe like 24 people liked it, but not a single person commented. And my question was, did anybody see it? And so because nobody commented it, but they liked it, I'm just going to interpret that as meaning that they agree that Atlantis is in the Bahamas and it's cool that I see something, but they don't see it. So I'm still the only person. Here, let me show you this, which is bizarre because I can point to you. It's freaking obvious, dude. It's right in front of your dang face, dude. I mean, what the hell's wrong with you guys? I'm still the only person. I'm like jumping up and down, telling everybody, and you're like, Dad, you just don't see it. Really? You just don't see it, does you? You just doesn't see it? Here, check it. I'm going to show this on all my videos, actually. Okay, so that's what you don't see? This is ridiculous. How do you not see that? Here, let me show you on the other one. We'll do this one. This is the one that zooms in. Let's do this one. Now, I'm having it flash so you see it's the same size, but it's beyond obvious to me. Here, I'm going to pause it when it opens up. Okay, right there. Okay, here, I'll point to it with my little, my toothpick, because my finger's too fat. Okay. So you really don't see that? 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 You really don't see it? You really don't see that circle? You really don't? Right there in the middle of the circle is the Temple of Poseidon. It's 90 meters by 185 meters. This is going to make me insane, you guys. I'm going to lose my mind if I continue to be the only person who sees this. You really don't see that. So yeah, I'm technically the only person who sees that. And also, do you see all those little dots? I want to show you something. This actually gets really frustrating when I talk about it. I feel like calling people names, but I know that, like, my mama wouldn't like it. Plus, you're not supposed to. The dude who called me a cunt, I told him, you're not supposed to call me a name. And then some dude tried to sell stuff, and I'm like, dude, you're not supposed to sell stuff. Okay, so this is the same. I actually can still see the circle. They didn't blast it over enough. So this is the same area. This is basically the same area. The circle is right here. It's right there. That's the circle. I actually can still see it. That's one end of it, and that's the other end of it, right? But they depixelated it, right? But what I really want to show is, do you see how you can't see the little, like, dots? The little white dots? You can see kind of those dots like that. Now let me show you mine that gets superimposed. The actual. Okay. Now, that, right? That's how it used to look. And I can clearly see the circle. Clearly see the circle. Yeah? And then, look at that, right? Look at that. Because I can't zoom in on it. Because I didn't do the screen capture. Because I was naive and I didn't realize that they were going to do that. I'm, like, too trusting. And that's what you see now. Wait, what happened? This moved. So that's what you see now. That's what you see now. Now we're going to go to images. Here, let's move it to here. Uh-oh, hey, check it out. It's on the frame where it's not there, but it's there, so you can't just drag it. This is probably just because my phone is so old. I have an iPhone 10. So see, look, that versus that. Okay, so anyways, so if you don't see the circle, or you don't think Atlantis existed or whatever, or it was in the Richat structure or in, like, the island of Santorini, there's another thing that we can address, and that's the depixelation. And and the guy who called me a lonely cunt didn't seem to care. Mr. LiDAR didn't seem to care that they took LiDAR capabilities away from us. You know, the rich are so fucking rich these days. Like, we're in an oligarchy now that they can just buy off everybody. So this dude who called me a lonely cunt very well could have been bought off. The entire Facebook group sections could have been bought off. You know, like Elon Musk gave some lady $1 million to vote for his candidate in Michigan or whenever that was, Wisconsin, and then they lost anyway. And see, now they're buying people off, like, in public. Because they did it so much behind the scenes, they just can't hide anymore. And they're like, wait, let's just make it obvious. Like that guy with the from Sri Lanka, the billionaire, whose name I can never remember, Chandabaya Kandaya, who's making the rounds in the left-wing circles now because he's complaining that he says that Trump's a better president than Biden was because he can pick up and talk to the Trump administration whenever he wants because of his hundreds of millions of dollars of donations he gave, but the Biden administration wasn't. So now he's straight up like, well, yeah, you buy yourself into influence. And they're like, isn't, and somebody asked him, he was on the Flagrant show. I saw this was like a clip, I think on Secular Talk, and he goes, some guy was like, yeah, but shouldn't rich people not buy? Just devil's advocate here. And the guy got all mad and he's like, do you think that I don't know? Do you think that I don't know my stuff? So apparently he's like, because he's a billionaire, he's like, he knows everything that there is. He's like the most genius ever. So now they're up and they're out there openly saying that they're smarter than everybody too. So having money means you're smart. And so it's like, you know, people's brains are getting warped. And if you look in the past, you know, and what people did in the past, it mirrors what's happening now. People's brains getting warped. Caligula wanted to be the king of the Jews and replace the Jewish like statue of David with a statue, or repurpose it as a statue of Caligula. Commodus tried to rename Rome Commodium. Nero made his horse a consul. They just they literally go crazy. Commodus would poison. He killed like 1,000 gladiators or something, but each of them would get poisoned before they'd fight. Like what Joaquin Phoenix, they got that from the real Commodus. Nero would do the same thing with wrestling. He wanted to be on the wrestling, the like Olympic wrestling team, or the yeah. So yeah, it just goes on, and then of course he was the most. So then he's also the greatest musician, because they're not even like politicians or statesmen. They're just interested in other things, but because they have the title and they want it, then they're just like, okay, well, I'm the best at everything. So, and then of course the wealth discrepancy, and then they just have slaves. If they can get away with it, they'll have slaves because money is their god. In the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, rich people would just work people to death. A 20-year-old girl was worked to death in England. They kept her up for like 36 hours just working in the factory, and then shoved her in a tiny little room like half the size of this room with like 8 other girls. And and having 5-year-olds work in the mines, like they don't care, and that's what they're trying to do now. Anyway, it would really help people if people could think for themselves and be like, yeah, how about the pixelization? So anyway, nobody said anything, but I got a few likes. But anyways, I'm glad that I got that off my chest, because I just, like, the thing that's keeping me from being able to exercise at all is I don't have any sense of accomplishment, because my sense of accomplishment level is like too high, because the world, I can see around me, and the world is so screwy. I have to do something, and but then I got addicted. I fell into the addiction of doing more and more. So now that I just did that whole Atlantis thing, telling people about Atlantis, I kind of feel like I can relax a little bit. But anyway, so that's what I was doing until 2:30. So then I slept in. And I was actually doing until like 10, because I feel really sick. And the only time that I even remotely feel okay, and I still don't even feel that good. When you wake up in the morning and you're relaxed and you just want to sleep in a little bit? I'm so sick that when I wake up, from the moment I wake up, like, it would help. It makes it easy to get up, but I don't feel relaxed. I feel like sick. And it's a lot of it's from like toxicity and like muscle atrophy around my back and stuff. But I was kind of trying to lay in bed, sleep in, because it was my 8 hours. I still need 8 hours of sleep. But then the alarm went off at 10:30, and I'm like, why the hell is the alarm going off at 10:30? And then I realized it was because I had a job. I have like a intermittent job helping old people and moving their stuff around. So I went over there. I was supposed to be there at 11. I showed up at 11:15 because I had to have breakfast. But I was there for 4 hours, from 11:15 to 3:15. Made $100. But I was raking. Most of the time I was raking, and was like really hard on my back. It was perfect exercise, man. I'm getting paid to get in shape. Freaking awesome. But yeah. And then I went directly to my mom's house, just because I was already in my car. I was gonna give her a toilet seat that the old person gave me. It was a wooden one, and then I was going to take it for myself, but then the trash people came and they took it. It was leaning up against my car, and he thought it was the trash. I should have put it in the car. I wasn't thinking. But anyway, I thought that he wouldn't take it because it was leaning against the car, but I guess he wasn't thinking. But whatever, no biggie. Yeah, I went to her house and she gave me this like bowl treatment. Like I laid on a like her like lazy boy, and she had these bowls that you bang, and then you do the it has a name, the stick around the bowl, and as you do the stick around the bowl, the ring gets really, really, really loud somehow, like woo, and it's some kind of sound therapy. She's doing the bowl around my head, like around my chakras, like in a circle, and it freaking worked. I passed out. I was like, and I slept for like an hour or something. When I woke up, I was like, dang. And she gave me a meal. I had a nice meal. And then she has a roommate, this 22-year-old girl at the roving school. And I offered her a bike because I have all these bikes and she wanted it. So I came back here and then I rode this commuter bike to loan to her. And so I stayed there again, and my mom gave me this really nice like eggplant rice meal. So I came back. When I came back, it was already kind of dark, and then I just stretched. Because yesterday I felt extremely bad, and right after I do this video, I'm going to do a video about like how marijuana detox is a real thing. But I was like, yeah, kind of unable to function. So I was just like stretching. So for some reason, my TV doesn't work anymore. I don't know what the deal with that is because it's not connected to the internet. But my computer has internet, so I don't know. Maybe I can call and see, but ask what's wrong. But I connected my computer to the TV. I can't remember what I was watching, but I was stretching there on the wall, on the ground, and just my hip, just stretching my hip, just my left hip. But and then I came and laid in bed and kind of had insomnia until like, I don't know, 2 a.m. or something. Kind of intermittently looking at my phone, listening to Bashar talk about stuff. But yeah, then I slept. I probably had dreams, don't remember. Actually, I think I do have dreams. I did have dreams, but I don't remember anything about them. I can't wait until I can remember my dreams, because that's going to make me feel like I'm psychically connected to the zeitgeist. I'm psychically connected to basically everybody in town, everybody's thoughts and dreams, and as well as parallel universes. Because I start having dreams of places that exist, but they're always bigger. So it's like I think it's this only in a parallel universe. Like I'm peering into parallel universes, and then I wake up and I live my day remembering the dream, and it just makes life super duper like trippy, dude. Like way trippier than if I'm smoking weed. I don't smoke weed to trip out on things and look at things in a different perspective. Really, I was smoking weed to kind of, I don't know, kind of take the edge off, kind of put me in Never Never Land, so I don't start thinking about why the hell am I doing just sitting here, you know? And it gets me motivated to keep going. But if I were look at the world in like a new perspective and be tuned in, like, yeah, being sober is the best way for that, because I can remember my dreams. But yeah, like I predicted the shooting in Boulder in my head. I started thinking about like that all the time, shooting, and then boom, the dude does it. It's like, Jesus. But not enough to verbalize it, but just kind of like in the back of my head. But anyway, yeah, so today I'm going to do a video about how it's, yeah, I do remember I had a dream. how weed detox is a real thing. So today what I'm going to do is get up and clean my mom gave me this new cleaner yesterday that like does the special cleaning solution. If you want to clean these wooden floors, you wipe it with third vinegar water, third these fake wood floors, third vinegar water, third rubbing alcohol, third water, and then you just make sure it doesn't leak in between the boards, and you clean it. And then you would wax it after that, and then she gave me this like steam cleaner that I was doing it with, and then wax it. But then I have this wax stuff, so yeah, I might clean it with that. Yesterday, the thing that I did day before yesterday, before I did that Facebook stuff, was I got on all the different Facebook groups I could find to try to rent my room. And I took like 50 photos. My photos were removed from the Boulder Creative Housing because they've probably been up too long and I need to do new ones anyway. So I took like 50 photos. I should write that people can borrow my bike. That'll make it easy. But I did photos of the place around here for the first time. And then I put an ad on the Rolfing School because that's how my mom gets roommates. But yeah, so I want to try to get in the habit of keeping this place clean all the time, just in case I can get a roommate. It'll be easier once I start being mainstream, but like normal, you know. Yeah, so I don't really know what I'm going to do today. I stay busy. I'm going to go in and my mom wants to give me like an oil massage or something because she knows how wrecked I am. Some kind of special oil massage. And then give me one of those bowl treatments again, only with a tuning fork. And I don't know what that means, but she put me to sleep yesterday, so that was cool. So I'm basically just trying to get healthy and quit smoking weed more than getting in shape. But a thing that I would really like to do, I want to go on a mountain bike ride with my new mountain bike. I've got all these bikes I haven't been on actual rides with. But I want to take my test because I want to ask for money from foundations and start putting ads on different donation websites. But I can't do that in good conscience until I pass my test, you know, because I have to walk the talk. But I have to get 100% on the 150 image matching from 3 categories, from 1500 to 2000 in England. And in order to get 100% on that, I have to study for maybe half hour or an hour or something, my guess is. But once I take the test, pass it, I can upload that, and and then maybe I should do some more physical fitness tests. And then I'm squared away, I'm doing it, and then I can ask for money, and just basically be like, yeah, kind of like what I'm doing. Like I barely even have to explain it, but, try to word myself correctly. But yeah, I mean, if I'm doing it myself, I can basically be like, yo, look at what I'm doing. Everybody should do that. Hook me up with money so that I don't have to forego this and never do it and just work like a worker bee, Put me in the system. Throw me in circulation. Richies, that's what you're supposed to do with all your extra money in these foundations. So, yeah, so whatever I do, I don't know. I'm just mainly at this point trying to get in shape. I'm going to do a video right now on my main channel talking about it because I was talking to ChatGTP yesterday as I was working. And it was it was telling me that it takes like a month to clear up your system from that, and within the first week you're going to be really uncomfortable. I just feel really toxic, like a combination of between being like really hungover, really dehydrated, and like having muscle aches all the time. But then because it's throughout my whole system, it's like multiplied by like 10. Yeah, and so it's like the pain, muscle atrophy pain and all that. So anyway, I'm gonna do my video now talking about that with another camera because this bit of battery is about to die, and then get going on my day. I'm glad I hit rock bottom because this way I get to know that I'm not gonna relapse, and I'll explain why I took it so far. You know, I was just working all the time, literally, you know, to get a lot done. I could list all the stuff that I did. Yeah, so now all I have to do is implement it on my own schedule. So that's my vlog. I'm going to talk about the detoxing from the weed on my main channel on the next, right now, before I get going on the day. Talk to you later.